The most outrageous scams in history. These scams are so ridiculous, it's hard to believe anyone fell for them, but they did, and the results were shocking. Imagine a man so trusted on Wall Street that everyone from everyday retirees to billion-dollar institutions lined up to hand him their money. That man was Bernie Madoff, a financial mastermind. Or so it seemed. Madoff was a former chairman of Nasdaq and ran a highly successful investment firm, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. He promised investors steady, reliable returns, an offer that was irresistible, especially when the stock market was unpredictable. For decades, clients received statements showing consistent, sometimes impossibly high returns, even when the market was in turmoil. People thought they had a ton of gold. Little did they know, Madoff wasn't actually investing their money at all. Whose were just statements. This is where the scam comes in. Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme. Instead of generating real profits, he took the money from new investors and used it to pay returns to earlier investors. On paper, everything looked perfect. Investors believed their money was growing, but behind the scenes, Madoff was juggling billions of dollars to keep up the illusion. His charm, reputation, and apparent success convinced thousands to trust him with their fortunes. Charities, banks, even celebrities were hooked. People believed they were part of an elite, getting in on something exclusive. In reality, Madoff wasn't generating any real profits. He was simply moving money around. This went on for decades. Year after year, Madoff managed to keep the illusion alive, luring more investors into his web. As long as people didn't ask for their money all at once, he could keep paying out returns, building a facade of wealth that didn't exist. But then, in 2008, everything changed. The financial crisis hit, and suddenly people wanted their money back. The requests for withdrawals flooded in, and Madoff didn't have the cash to cover them. His empire, built entirely on lies, began to crumble. He knew the end was near. Madoff confessed to his sons, who reported him to the authorities. In December 2008, Bernie Madoff was arrested, and the full extent of the Ponzi scheme was revealed. The fallout was staggering. Over $65 billion had vanished. People lost their life savings, charities were wiped out, and trust in the financial system was shattered. Investors were left devastated, many facing financial ruin. Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison, but the damage he caused went far beyond numbers. It was unimaginable because it broke unimaginable scale. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme remains one of the most notorious scams in history of how greed, deception, and misplaced trust can ruin lives. So how did so many people, from everyday investors to financial experts, fall for it? Maybe the lesson here is simple. Not everything which glitters is gold.